The Canucks played hard. You can't fault the effort, but the losses keep mounting as they fall 4-1 to Utah. We're breaking it down. This is Rink Wide Vancouver. And we welcome you inside the Pacific Toyota Dealer Studios. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. Rink Wide brought to you in part by Bet365. I'm Jeff Pettersson. He's Irf Gaffar. And we are here to bring you some holiday cheer because, well, the hockey club that you follow does not. The losses are mounting here. That's 1 win in 8 now as they fall 4-1 to the Utah Mammoth. And Irf, hard to fault the effort of the Vancouver Canucks, but this league is just way too tough to try to win when you're scoring 1 goal per game the way they have for the last 3 hockey games.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that effort doesn't win you hockey games or get you 2 points because the Canucks could have a lot more points than they do right now, Jeff, sitting dead last in the standings in points and dead last in the standings in points percentage after this game.
Everybody, let's look way down. No, keep further. Keep going. Yeah, way down there, right at the bottom. Rock bottom. You hope it's rock bottom, but they turn around and they play one of the hottest teams in the National Hockey League in less than 24 hours, and so the hits keep on coming for the Vancouver Canucks. Again, they were gaming this one. They were the better team on balance, as they were in San Jose last Friday. Guess what? Doesn't mean anything if you don't outscore your opponents. And give Karel Vejmelka credit. He was really good throughout the hockey game, particularly in the first 2 periods. And, you know, the Canucks lose the special teams battle. The special teams weren't terrible in this hockey game, but the power play had opportunities. Canucks get a goal early in the third. It's a 2-1 game at that point. Then they get a power play, and this power play that was going good and maybe riding a percentage bender has gone ice cold. All of a sudden, it's 4 games now without a power play goal when a goal here might have been able to get this thing to overtime, and who knows? Instead, Utah pulls away. It wasn't a 4-1 game at all. I mean, the final shots are 32-18 in the Canucks' favor. They hold Utah to just 3 shots on goal in the third. Unfortunately, the Utes scored on 2 of them, including an empty netter. So, again, like you can go through this Canucks lineup and say, hey, this guy played all right. This guy was dangerous. I remember moments from this guy. You add it all up, and they get 1 goal. It's from Arshdeep Bains. It's his first of the season, and that had to feel good for him. And at the time, it looked like, hey, maybe it was going to spark the comeback for the Canucks, but it didn't. So Arshdeep's into the goal column. Long time coming. Here we are now into December, and he's had chances, and there have been some close calls, and he picked up an assist the other night, so he does have points in back-to-back games. But, you know, if you're an NHLer, you want to put pucks in the net. And so let's hope that it's the first of more to come for Arshdeep Bains. But they need, like, it doesn't matter. They'll take goals from anybody right now. Evander Kane in Los Angeles, Linus Karlsson in Colorado, Arshdeep Bains here against Utah. When you can rattle off the 3 goal scorers from the last 3 games off the top of your head, you know that this team's not getting many. And as I said, it's way too difficult. They haven't found ways to win these games when they're held in check offensively. And so the grind will continue. And, Minnesota right now, one of the top defensive teams in the NHL. I know Calgary got 4 on them, so maybe there's a little crack in the armor there, but they're going to be mad coming in here. They're going to be rested. The Canucks have to turn around and do this again on Saturday night. And it'll be interesting. We'll wait to hear some of the post-game reaction, but the ship of moral victories, that thing sailed so long ago. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I'm sure the players don't want to try and sell it. Again, they played all right tonight. Like, if we're grading them on the effort level and the performance, you're giving them a B probably.
Yeah,
but who cares ultimately?
Exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing. As we sit here and, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they played well and that line was good, but you still lost the game. You're still dead last in the standings and in points percentage. The name of the game is winning. And I know a lot of people want the tank and all of that, and that might come because they're just not good enough to play and compete with some of these teams. Utah wasn't coming into Vancouver exactly all that sexy right now. They hadn't been playing well, and they took it to the Canucks. Yeah, the effort was there. The effort's great. It always is great from this team. They've played well enough to win hockey games. The fact of the matter is they can't put the puck in the net. And unfortunately, they're not able to keep it out of theirs when their goalie's, keeping them in the hockey game. It wasn't a busy night for Kevin Lankinen, keeping him in the game when he needed to. The offense couldn't go. 0 for 14 in the last 4 games on its power play, Jeff.
And they've been in all those games.
Yeah.
I mean, people were having some fun with Adam Foote and they were right there. Guess what? They were right there. It was a 2-1 hockey game, and Kevin Stanlin takes a slashing, crushes Kiefer Sherwood's stick in half. Easy call for the officials. Power play for the Canucks. They zip it around. They had a couple of looks there, but in the end, they don't score. Utah does score on a power play. The Sergachev goal that opened the scoring, the double deflection off first Elias Pettersson and then Marcus Pettersson into the back of the net after Max Sasson had taken the tripping penalty at the offensive blue line. And so Utah got the lead. They were able to extend it. Nick Schmaltz with a deflection. There were a bunch of deflections in this hockey game, but Schmaltz with his 11th of the season, guy that's going to get paid somewhere by somebody in the offseason. He gets his 11th of the year, and Utah at that point up 2-0, but they couldn't be comfortable because there was plenty of time left, and especially when Archie Bain scores to make it a 2-1 hockey game, there's still 16 minutes left on the clock, and now it's a 1-goal game. You're one shot, one bounce away for the Canucks, but again, they had chances, but I don't think people want to hear about the chances. I don't think we really want to get too far into the weeds on all of the opportunities that the Canucks created. They have to bear down here. They've got to find a way to score some goals. And ultimately, they got to find a way to win some hockey games. It is the name of the game. Let's be clear. They did get booed off the ice at the end.
Of course.
I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, given the recent struggles, the performance on home ice all season. We'll get to the stat that stands out a little bit later on here. But let me just run through some numbers quickly. 0-3-1 in their last 4. So they're winless in 4. First time this season that they have gone 4 without a victory.
Yep.
1-6-1 in their last 8 hockey games. That victory in Anaheim to start the road trip feels like a lifetime ago. It was a fun hockey game that night. They scored 5. What do they have? 5 since then, I think. So they got to find a way to put pucks in the net. But overall, 10, 15, and 3. 23 points. They stick on 23, and that is looking up at everybody in the National Hockey League. They still have a game in hand on the Calgary Flames. What a crazy sentence that is, to claw their way out of the basement, but it's 23 points in 28 games. This team is in absolute shambles.
Lost 10 of 12. It's not good. I said it right at the end of the month. Juju's not good around the team. Things aren't going well. Puck isn't going into net. They're trying, but this isn't, someone pointed out in our YouTube chat, this isn't the effort cup. We're not playing every game to award the team with the best effort. This isn't a participation ribbon game. It's the National Hockey League. And you got to put your work boots on. You got to come back to work and ready to go against a Minnesota team who's sitting pretty tonight, watching this game, licking their chops, getting ready to go at this team. Like you just mentioned before, defensively, they're a pretty stingy hockey team, tough to play against. The Vancouver Canucks coming off a game where they played well. Are you going to get another effort like that? You got to put the puck in the net, and they have to figure out a way to do that. Whether that's sitting a guy that you may not want to sit, whether it's sending a message in that sense. And again, it's their skill guys right now aren't really doing it for them either.
No, and you can quarrel with Kiefer Sherwood as a skill guy, but he does lead this hockey team in goals. You wonder how long that's going to remain, although if nobody else is scoring around him, he may hold on to that goal-scoring lead until the time he's traded. But he has now gone 8 without a goal. And he wasn't going to score at the rate that he did in October when he had 9 of his dozen, but he had 3 in November, and now a couple of games into December and hasn't scored. So production really has dropped off there. Effort, again, it's there. He had 9 hits in this hockey game. He had a crossbar in the first period. There were moments for Kiefer Sherwood. I'm not knocking Kiefer Sherwood, but these are the guys that were scoring for the Canucks. Jake DeBrusk has gone 7 without a goal now. And remember that 7 of his 8 have come on the power play. We're into December. He has 1 5-on-5 goal.
Brock can't buy a goal.
Brock has 1 in 10.
Yeah.
Elias Pettersson, 1 in 6. Like, it adds up. When they're getting 1 per game, these slumps will progress, and that's where they are as a hockey club. Saturday's a new night, another opportunity, but one of the reasons that they aren't scoring is that Linus Karlsson got the goal the other night, Arshdeep Bains. These guys are scratching and clawing to make their way in the NHL. They are secondary scorers who were lighting up in the American Hockey League a year ago. Not even a year ago. Last spring. And so you need, I don't care who you are, you need your best players, the guys that you look to produce offense, to do just that. And it's just not happening for the Vancouver. Quinn Hughes has gone 4 games without a point. He has 2 points in his last 7. We're talking about Quinn Hughes. Points just follow him around. They drip off him. And he can't buy points right now either. So add it all up. And I don't want to repeat myself too much, but yeah, 1 win in 8. Let's get to the 3 stars of this hockey game. And again, we want to hear from you too. So bring it with a super chat. Our charity partner this season, the BC Mental Health Foundation, changing the face of mental health and addiction by supporting breakthroughs in care, public understanding, research, and knowledge exchange. We want your super chats, and it's all to support a really, really terrific cause. But let's get to the 3 stars. The 3 stars here on Rink Wide are always brought to you by Greta Bar. And we can now tell you that our next Canucks Army watch party, hey, it's coming up quickly. December 20th, an early start, Vancouver and Boston, just days before Christmas. So it's a watch party, a Christmas bash. Come by. You can bring us gifts or not.
We'll take them.
Either way, hey, let's have some fun with it. Again, we got to find ways to manufacture fun. There's a lot of season left here, but it'll be a get-together. We'll watch some hockey, prizes. Greta's got its terrific game day food and drink special. So join us December the 20th. Book your table now via the open table link available on our social media. Greta Bar, the place to be, 50 West Cordova. Greta Bar, let the games begin. 3 stars in the building. Karel Vejmelka, Mikhail Sergachev, and Elias Pettersson, who dug in. Again, this is not a night to harp on Elias Pettersson, ask where was Elias Pettersson. 5 shots on goal, 11 attempts. He had the shot block at the end of a shift that the Canucks were able to turn up ice and create a close call. Story of the night. No issues with the television selections of their 3 stars. Our 3 stars, slightly different, but there's Karel Vejmelka, the left-handed catching goaltender, had the shutout the other night down in Anaheim and follows it up, giving up just the 1 goal off the rush. Arshdeep Bains from Ratu and Lekkermäki, 4:17 into the 3rd period. Otherwise, Karel Vejmelka was solid. And they showed it on the broadcast. If you've watched this Utah team, they got off to a terrific start. They were 8-2, 10 games into the season. And then they kind of fell on hard times, and part of it was they just weren't getting saved. But Vejmelka's bounced back here to start the month of December. Sergachev opens the scoring, 4th of the year, on the power play. A little lucky, but hey, counts. Found the back of the net, and then he also gets the primary assist. His shot was deflected by Nick Schmaltz, so Sergachev in on 2 of the 4 Utah scoring plays. And there's Aatu Räty, who I thought quietly had another strong game. Had an assist in Denver the other night, gets the primary assist as the Canucks broke out off the rush, held onto the puck, waited, and as Bains cut to the front of the net, let the shot go, and it was deflected. So Aatu Räty collects another assist. 9 minutes and 1 second of ice time, so didn't play a ton, but found a way to leave his mark, and terrific work in the face-off circle. And you expect that from him. He won 7 of his 8 draws. So, again, there were other candidates on this Canuck Hockey Club. We talked about Kiefer Sherwood, 3 shots, 9 hits. But I thought Aatu Räty dug in and was doing his thing. And so, in a losing cause, why not? Little love for Aatu Räty, who's on a 2-game point streak. Those are your 3 stars. They are brought to you by Greta.
No problem with Vejmelka. Played a really, really solid hockey game. I mean, you could tell when a goalie's feeling it. He's making those saves. No really rebounds are coming out. You know, he was playing well. He was dialed in. The Canucks tested him. They peppered him with shots. But did they pepper him with any high-danger shots? Did they get in his grill? Did they make life difficult? Did they do anything on the power play? No, they didn't do any of that. And I think that's what's frustrating was there. Good for Arshdeep Bains. First goal in 32 if you go way back for him. So good to really get the monkey off the back for the kid. Must feel good for him. And then Mikhail Sergachev. Don't leave Mikhail Sergachev open at the point. Don't let him walk in. It was the PD double doink on the first goal. Went off Elias Pettersson and Marcus Pettersson and in the back of the net. And then obviously the second goal, he was able to just get the puck through. Look, Good defensemen are able to get their shot through, and Mikhail Sergachev does it better than a lot. Quinn Hughes, when he's on, can find the way, cut through, beat defenders left, right, and center, and get his shot through. That's what good defenders are able to do, so absolutely no problem with that for Mikhail Sergachev as our second star here.
We'll get to our stat that stands out, but as we just kind of look under the hood of the analytics from this hockey game, Canucks dominated the Utah Mammoth. Like, make no mistake about it. Controlled 62.2% of all 5-on-5 shot attempts. The actual shots at 5-on-5 were 27-16 in the Canucks' favor, so that's 62%. Scoring chances, basically a 2-1 margin, 35-17. The high dangers, 17-9 in favor of the Canucks. And the expected goals at 5-on-5, 3.28 for the Canucks, 1.7 for Utah, and yet Utah scored 2 at 5-on-5. The Canucks got 1, and so Vejmelka played a huge role in that. Kevin Lankinen, the Sergachev goal, not a lot he could do. Deflections obviously are tough. The Stenlund goal off the rush, man, did they make that look easy. Kevin Stenlund, just his second goal of the season, but and I'm not hanging that on Lankinen, just all around. It was remarkable how easy it looked for Utah to pull away there and make it a 3-2 hockey game or 3-1 hockey game, and then the empty netter by Marino. So, yeah, I mean, the underlying numbers certainly favored the Canucks, and really it wasn't a case of score effects here, even though the Canucks were chasing this hockey game. But individually, like, how about this one? The Corsi King for the Vancouver Canucks tonight, none other than David Kampf, who is still looking for his first point. Didn't look dangerous, but Canucks controlled 22 shot attempts for 7 against, so 75.8% for David Kampf, his individual Corsi. There's just no reason for him to be the second-line center in this hockey club. He skated lower in the lineup at practice, and then they lined up for the game, and he's back in the top 6, which makes no sense. None, and it just sort of feels like, even though Adam Foote's hands are tied, like I get it, his hands are tied. He doesn't have many options behind Elias Pettersson, but why would you waste a practice then of Max Sasson higher in the lineup and turn around and here's David Kampf, who just brings you absolutely nothing? And surely it's not even on camp. Like, he shouldn't be expected to. That's not who he is at the NHL level. He's not a point producer. That's been pretty evident here in his time as a Canuck, and so they're just going to continue to hammer their head against the wall. We saw Besser and Garland move up and get a chance to play with Pettersson for much of the third period when they were down and trailing and trying to generate the equalizer, but wasn't to be. And then, unfortunately, again, the biggest weakness on this hockey club, so you move Besser and Garland up with Petey, that's fine. Linus Karlsson, who's been one of their better players the last little while, he gets the David Kampf treatment, and that kind of went as you would expect it might have.
And it's frustrating because Linus Karlsson has been a good story for this team for a while now. He's a guy that's finally finding his game, and he's playing well. There was lots of shots of him on the broadcast, playing some really good hockey. Murph led with it to start the show, and it's great, and it's a guy that's playing well. So you like to see guys that are showing that they deserve ice time, guys that are showing that they've earned their ice time, get more opportunity, especially when he's been coming on lately and scoring goals. And I think that that's one of the things where, you look at Adam Foote and some of his decision-making late in games. David Kampf, obviously, having to play with, or Linus Karlsson having to play with a guy like David Kampf. It's interesting. Kampf looking for his first point. We said jokingly last show that we did together, is he going to get a point before Christmas?
All he wants for Christmas is a point.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe 2, but
I don't know.
Settle for 1.
It's slim pickings. And what are they going to do with Niels Höglander? Or when Niels Höglander's back, is Reichel going down through the waiver wire?
I would think so. And again, we'll cross that bridge. They don't have to activate Höglander. He's certainly not going to play on Saturday, but possibly by Monday they would have to make a roster move unless there's an injury that would have somebody wind up on IR. And let's hope that that's not the case. Reichel seems like he has been squeezed out of the equation here. If Archie Baines was on borrowed time, then a night like tonight and a goal and points in the last couple, given management something to think about at least, that there is a bottom line to his performance here. But I would think that Lucas Reichel, we had heard that they had been trying to peddle him. I'm not surprised that there's not a taker around the National Hockey League. So I would think he would wind up on waivers. And if he clears, and there's a pretty strong chance that he would go down to Abbott's.
Who's going to give some? I mean, the Canucks did, but like it was low. It was very low risk.
When they had 9 injured
exactly.
guys, they just needed a warm body, and For a fourth-round draft pick, I didn't mind given where they were with all the injuries then, but the Lucas Reichel experiment, it hasn't gone so well, and neither has the David Kampf. We talk about them being 1-6-1 in their last 8. That's not on David Kampf, but that lines up with David Kampf joining this hockey club, and so he's experienced exactly one victory in a Vancouver Canuck uniform. Got a super chat from Casey Shuffle.
Nice.
How long should the Canucks keep Malhotra waiting in the wings for the head coaching role? I'd like to see him get a shot, but not a plank walk type of setup. I don't want to lobby for anybody to lose their job. So I want to be careful and show respect to Adam Foote here. But I would say that everybody's job is going to be on the line here. You're dead last in the NHL. Whether it's the head coach, whether it's his coaching staff, whether it's the management above him, I think everybody's got to be on notice. Even for a first-year guy that's 28 games into his head coaching career in the National Hockey League, this thing is off the rails. But does Manny Malhotra want to come into this? If you're the Canucks, do you want to introduce Manny Malhotra into this and ask him to clean up this mess? I know Manny wants to be head coach in the National Hockey League, and I'm pretty sure that the Calder Cup championship is a springboard to an NHL job, whether it's here or elsewhere. But if you're Manny, do you want to walk into this? Do you want this to be your first crack as a head coach in the National Hockey League, being asked to come in and sweep up this mess?
I think if the Vancouver Canucks wanted Manny Malhotra to coach this team, they could have had Manny Malhotra coaching this team. I think that you and I both know, and a lot of people that cover this team know that Manny Malhotra is a pretty smart guy. I think when Manny, obviously everyone has to go through an interview process, and even if you do coach, I think that, Manny looked at what was ahead of him, looked at this team and looked at it and said, okay, well, there's going to need to be some assurances here, because if this team doesn't go a certain way, which is what we're seeing right now, he doesn't want to end up being the guy that we're talking about that might have to be replaced, whether being Adam Foote, you know what I mean, for him to come over. So I think that Manny right now is totally fine waiting in the wings, and Manny there's going to be other head coaching jobs as well open in the NHL. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Vancouver Canucks. If there is one, who knows? Adam Foote is under contract for a couple of seasons at least here in Vancouver, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I think that Manny Malhotra, is still earning his stripes down there in Abbotsford and working hard and obviously going through it right now in the ringer down there in the jungle with the team that he has. But, Manny is going to have some options here. And I'd be interested to know if the Vancouver Canucks are his first option.
Wow, and just on that...
Again, I'm not clamoring for Adam Foote to lose his job or anything like that. We're not doing that here. We're just having a conversation about it.
It is the 4th-year anniversary of the house cleaning that led to the dismissal of Jim Benning and John Weisbrod, Travis Green, Nolan Baumgartner. So that was 4 years ago on this day. Obviously, Bruce Boudreau's been here. How about Rick Tocchet? You think Rick Tocchet is looking at the standings and thinking he dodged a bullet and made the right call? Even if things go sideways in Philadelphia, his Flyers are a long way from dead last in the National Hockey League.
And he's getting 25 sheets.
Well, there's that too. But he would have got that here and decided that he would collect his paycheck elsewhere. And it looks right now like he made the right call. We're going to hear from Elias Pettersson momentarily, but let's get to the stat that stands out. We do that on every episode of Rink Wide. And the stat that stands out is always delivered by Uber Eats. And Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. Every time the Canucks playing at home, you can get a buy one, get one 6-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's in Vancouver only on Uber Eats. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins, if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every hockey fan's experience all season long. Hashtag crave the stats. The Canucks, well, they are craving wins that are hard to come by. And look at that, whether on the road or at home, and this is in front of your fan base. People are shelling out their hard-earned dollars. And the Vancouver Canucks have one win, exactly one victory in their last 8 at Rogers Arena. So they have one win in their last 8 overall. You're thinking, all right, home ice advantage? Not so much. They have one win in their last 8 at home, and that was against the Columbus Blue Jackets in early November. We're coming up on a full month since the Vancouver Canucks have tasted victory and since the home fans have had something to truly cheer about at the Rod. So, yeah, that is a stat that stands out for all the wrong reasons. But, hey, the numbers don't lie. And as we say just about every episode, we work with the material that they present. And right now, it's a whole lot of losses. Just the facts.
Yeah, and look, good teams take care of business on home ice. That is your advantage, home ice advantage. You play 41 games on your own ice, Rogers Arena. You control the change, you control the last change, you can crowd, everything. It's all in your favor. One win, like you just said, the paying customer at Rogers Arena, the fans, families that go to games. One win. They stunk last season on home ice. You thought that we'd be able to turn it around here, and they turned the corner. But again, for whatever reason, they're just not it at home. I mean, they haven't been it on the road yet this season either. But one win in their last 8 is simply not going to cut it if you're the Vancouver Canucks.
They have 3 wins at home all season.
Yeah.
1 each against the Alberta teams, who are as crappy as they are, and then the Columbus win. Those are their wins. That's it. That's the win total on home ice. The Oilers, the Flames, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Not exactly a murderer's row. And as a result, the Vancouver Canucks, as we said, 10-15-3 on the season now, 28, so they're past 1/3. They're now into the second third of their schedule. It's not early anymore, folks. We're into December, and the Canucks are 28 games into this thing. By Monday, they will have played 30 hockey games this season, and we'll see if it gets any better. We mentioned Elias Pettersson, played a lot, played hard, was invested in this hockey game, 21 minutes and 24 seconds, 5 shots on 11 attempts, struggled a little bit in the face-off circle, 9 and 13 on the draw. He had that chance in the first period. Remember the first shift of the game in Los Angeles? He came close, and they had the video review. This one not quite as close in that the puck didn't get most of the way in, but trying to stuff the puck in front. Vejmelka was down, made the stop, and then moments later, that same line, it was Linus Karlsson in front, set up by Quinn Hughes. Again, there were chances. We're not going to sit here and say when you outshoot an opponent 32-18, there were chances. But right now, they're not converting. And just like so many of his teammates, Petey's gone a little bit dry. Here is Elias Pettersson postgame after the 4-1 loss to Utah.
Yeah, it's tough. I think we definitely created a lot to win, enough to win the game. Create a lot of chances. Had some good looks, but yeah.
You guys had a really good stretch on the power play. It seems to have gone cold a little bit here of late. What's the difference, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if we're trying to find the perfect play or if we don't winning back pucks after shots, or I don't know. But we just got to come together as a 5 and be better.
You just need a bounce. Just get a bounce and things will flip your way.
Wouldn't mind it, but we got to find a way to put the puck in net.
What did you like about your line in particular? Was creating a lot of chances, but basically the entire net in the offensive zone. What do you think was working well for you guys?
No, I think working well. Got some good looks on breakouts from coming through neutral zone. Good around the net, good on cycle, I thought, but the goals were missing.
What have you liked from what you've seen from Linus lately?
He's been looking good. He's strong in the puck, protects it well, wins a lot of battles, which creates. Sorry, I can't talk now. Creates scoring chances.
You guys have been in a lot of tight games, even when it hasn't gone your way. What's the belief level like in the room right now?
No, we believe we can win every game. Obviously, it's hasn't been looking good with the record, but we're giving the effort every game, and it's not bouncing our way.
Is there a positive in the fact that you'll be right back at it tomorrow night?
Yeah, no reason to dwell on this. Obviously, it sucks we lost, but back at it again tomorrow.
All right, there you go. Some honesty, some candor from Elias Pettersson. We know that there have been lots of nights in the last bunch of years post-game where you could tell that he didn't want to stand in front of the microphones and the cameras, but he dug in there. I thought tried to answer the questions as best he can. But clearly he doesn't have answers either right now for a hockey club that can't score, can't win. And so, I guess as a professional athlete, you're sort of conditioned, hey, tomorrow night's a new night. instead of sitting on it for a couple of days, suit back up and give it your best chance. The problem is you're running into a Minnesota team that's going to be angry after the loss in Calgary, and this mini team means business defensively, and so for a team that's struggling to score right now, that's going to be a challenge. But again, in this market, we're reading into body language every night, it seems. I think I liked what I heard from him, but I would prefer to see it play out, let his actions speak for themselves out on the ice.
Yeah, and I mean, look, to his credit, he hasn't been the problem. He's had looks. He's scored. He had a really strong November. He's in it every night. He's there. He's trying to do the right things. It's just not happening for this team right now. And I don't want to say that's okay, but it does happen when just generally your team's just not there. They're just not good enough. And it's the way the roster was constructed. It's the injuries that they have. Obviously, it does play a little bit into it. But those guys coming back isn't going to save the overall problem that is this hockey team, Jeff. And it's just the way that this team is constructed. They aren't going to have guys that have career years every single year and be able to bank on that. I don't know if they can bank on a Kiefer Sherwood scoring 19 to 25 goals. 12 is great, but he's not the guy that you pay to score the goals. Elias Pettersson is that guy, and he's been there. Where's the Jake DeBrusk goals coming? Where are the Brock Besser goals? Evander Kane, I know he didn't play, but where are those guys? The guys that you're paying the money to. Connor Garland has been pretty quiet. We've talked about him, all heart, all effort, all the time. Guy plays hard, plays fast, but you need him to score some goals. You need him to get some points. Hasn't done that either. So that's where the frustration is for this team, and I bet it's for these guys as well. Is they want to go out, they want to have an effort and compete, and on nights where they think they play well, they still come out losing the hockey game.
Yeah, Connor Garland's interesting to me, and I know his season's been broken up by a bunch of different injuries. No one is ever going to question the heart and soul of this guy. I mean, the energy shows up, he competes hard, but you're right, like so many other guys got off to a reasonably decent start that sort of propped up his point totals. He had 1 assist in the month of November. It was the Besser goal early in the game in San Jose the other day on the road trip. But he never scores a lot of goals. He's not a big goal scorer. What's his career high? 22 when he was with Arizona. Has been a 20-goal scorer once with the Canucks. So, a secondary scoring. But in terms of a setup guy, for the amount that he plays, and sort of all the talk of him being this play driver, I just looked at Connor Garland. He had 2 assists on October 26th, the overtime win against Edmonton. And from that point forward, he set up 1 goal for a teammate. And so, if I sound like I'm singling him out, I'm not. I'm just surprised. When I saw that the other day, I thought, really, it feels like things are happening, right? Like when he's out there, it always feels like things are happening. Things haven't really been happening for him, but he's got a ton of company right now. And so, again, we can come back to all the guys with the goal droughts, but part of the reason guys aren't scoring is because other guys aren't setting them up. It's a team game. Everybody's got to work in unison here, and you just wonder about sort of that whole team dynamic, like how together in this battle are they truly? And I say that on a night when they clearly outplayed the Utah Mammoth, but 0-4 lifetime now against the Woolly Ones. Didn't have a nickname last year. They do now. Whether they're the unnamed Utah Hockey Club or the Mammoth.
The Mammoth.
They've got the Canucks number, at least through the first 4 head-to-head meetings.
Effort aside, what do you like from the Canucks in this hockey game?
Oh,
there you go.
It's getting harder and harder. You just feel like you really have to dig down to find any sort of silver lining. I like Linus Karlsson. I did. I mean, I want to see him stay and get an opportunity. I didn't like the fact that they pulled him off that line, and I get what Adam Foote's trying to do, but I'm not convinced that Besser and Garland, the way that they're going right now, represented the idea of offense any more than Linus Karlsson did if you'd stuck with him. Now, we'll see about Evander Kane. Missed practice, missed the game, illness. Quick turnaround here for this team, but with another night to rest. If Evander Kane comes back, like, where do you plug him? Does he go right back onto that spot with Elias Pettersson on the top line? Yeah?
I think so. And your best forward who's in recent form is going to get the David Kampf treatment.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. This segment of Rink Wide is presented by the Pacific Toyota dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid. It's a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles. It offers the best of both worlds. Drive up to 72 kilometers on battery alone. That's enough to get you from downtown to the rink to the grocery store and then home to recharge. It seamlessly transitions from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. No sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style, with its sleek, low, wide exterior and sophisticated interior, loaded with tech that is actually easy to use. And you can plug in to recharge at home or at one of the over 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. And right now, we want to tell you about the 2026 Prius plug-in hybrid SE. You can get it from $109 weekly at 3.99% APR for 64 months with $3,300 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. Did you see how I pivoted off your question about what I liked into a Toyota plug? Again, it's getting harder, and there's so much hockey left to be played. There's 54 games to go, and so this idea that they're dead last in the standings is just crushing. I feel for this fan base that deserves so much more and so much better, and this is sort of my problem too. Is the Canucks fan the Flames. They put out this memo to the rest of the league that they're open for business, and then a couple of weeks go by and nothing, and they're losing hockey games. Talk is cheap. I do think that people would like to see them start stripping away. Like, the guys you've got aren't working for you, so why not see if you can't start to, accumulate assets here? And I worry about, if Kiefer Sherwood is the trade target that he's said to be, and I think he is. I think any playoff-bound team would benefit from having a Kiefer Sherwood in their lineup, but you run the risk, too, of injury, right? That would be the most Canuck thing ever, is to hold on to him, thinking that you're driving up his value and getting bidding wars, and then he suffers the same fate that so many of his teammates have this year. And so that is a legitimate concern to me, is that injury is going to scuttle some kind of Kiefer Sherwood deal.
So it's been 3 weeks, right? Or about,
I think it's two.
So 2 weeks since Jim Rutherford sent his memo out to the rest of the GM to the National Hockey League. We're 2 weeks away from the NHL roster freeze, or the holiday roster freeze, where players don't get moved, traded, up and down, all that. December 19th, I believe it is, across the NHL. You think we'll see a move in 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks for today, 14 days away.
I think they owe it to the fan base here. Just sitting on their hands, doing nothing, and watching this thing continue to slide. I don't like their chances against Minnesota, but Calgary beat Minnesota, so hey, it can be done. That's why you play the games. But what happens if they lose to Detroit on Monday? What happens if they lose to Buffalo on home ice? That's the final home game before Christmas. This homestand's it for games before Christmas.
How much holiday cheer will be happening?
No, the holiday season, people are supposed to be, follow la. Not a whole lot of follow la at Rogers Arena these days. And then they go out on this Eastern road trip that will take them up to the Christmas break and the holiday roster freeze and all that kind of stuff. So, if they leave their fans with the final game, they were marketing it as the Christmas game against the Sabres next Thursday. Yeah. If that thing goes sideways against Buffalo, look out. All right, a bunch of super chats to get to before we get to our line of the night here. Canucks fan 9420. Doesn't matter what players we draft, trade, or sign, or how many coaches, GMs, presidents we hire and then fire. As long as Aquaman owns the team, we're going nowhere. Got any sense of we used to hear from ownership on Twitter, mostly to sort of dunk on reports that he didn't like, but at least we got some sort of reaction. We never hear from ownership anymore. You have any sense of how this is going down in the big corner office?
Not happy, obviously. I mean, that's Captain Obvious. Everyone's looking at her being like, yeah, no shit. But I just think that if you're ownership and you're looking at this saying that, okay, if I need to get rid of my president, if I need to get rid of my general manager, if the head coach needs to go, who do I think that is good enough to come and run this hockey team? Who do I believe that can come in and be the Jim Rutherford or be the Patrick Alvin? And I'm not entirely sure that they're there yet. Jim Rutherford currently is running this hockey team. Patrick Allvin is the general manager of this hockey team right now. When Jim Rutherford calls other GMs or sends out memos left, right, and center, they answer and they want to talk to Jim Rutherford about players on their team. So it can't get any worse than it is now because they're dead last in the league, like we said off the top of the show, dead last in points percentage, have a tough stretch coming up, and things are looking very, very, very bleak. Jim Rutherford, I believe, has another year left on his deal. Patrick Allvin, I think, has one more as well. But if they are going to strip this down, here's what I say. If they're going to strip it down, they got to look at every single thing involved. On the ice, off the ice, everything has to be in unison. They all have to be going in the same direction, and right now, they ain't.
Another super chat supporting the BC Mental Health Foundation. This one comes from Alexander71. Garland and Sherwood are the grittiest guys. We need more of that. Foote would look better if he had a gritty team. Trade Garland's deal and hope Sherwood takes a TFD.
Team-friendly discount.
Team-friendly
I got you.
Discount. Gotcha.
Here's what I say about that. Kiefer Sherwood, go get your money. If someone's going to give you $30 million, $25 million, go get it.
And here's what I say to that, too, is that this idea of keeping this group together, like, what have they done? What have they won? And so how many of these guys do you truly want to keep in the fold over the long haul? You've got Pettersson to a long-term deal, DeBrusk, Besser, Garland. Now you want Kiefer Sherwood, although you're saying, see if you can move Garland. Kiefer Sherwood has been terrific. I mean, he's been such a value for the Vancouver Canucks, but I just fear locking him into he's going to want term, and he should get term for the first time in his life. So I'm with you. Go get your bag, but I just don't think it can be here in Vancouver as much as I like the idea of that kind of player. I just wish he was 24 and not 30 years of age. We missed another one. This one comes from Prime Killer 5729. I hope I got that name right. Who would you want as captain if Hughes gets traded? Somebody asked me this in the Canucks Army mailbag on Monday, and I said, like, what if that person isn't even in the organization yet? Like, I'd be in favor of them stepping back. Like, just don't rush into.
Yeah.
Elias Pettersson doesn't need to be the captain of the Vancouver Canucks.
Nor do I think he wants to.
Brock Besser, if he's around, the A it seems right for him, even though he's been here as long as anybody. And then you go down the list, and you're not going to get to the young guys. I joked in the Canucks Army mailbag that, Philip Hronek's got a lot of the qualities, but the mere fact that he would have to be public-facing, that would be the deal breaker for him.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, but no thanks. I don't think he'd want that job. Connor Garland could be, like, he could handle the media. He leads by example and all that kind of stuff, but doesn't wear a letter now, and so I don't know that you would slap the C on him. I would take it easy. I would take it slow here. And that's not a cop-out on your question. Why would you rush into, if you're trading Quinn Hughes, you are running the white flag up the pole, and you are starting over. And so why wouldn't you let a new leadership group emerge at that point?
Let it form itself. Yeah. Let someone emerge as a leader, like you said. Let someone take over control. I mean, look, Quinn Hughes is still the captain of this team until when he gets moved. Who knows what's going to happen with him over the next little while here? But yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. I think that there's no need to rush into absolutely anything.
We talked about Evander Kane and where he might slot in tomorrow. What's your gut tell you? They're back to back. Kevin Lankinen wasn't terribly busy here. He is their guy, but Nikita Tolopilo's back. He had a win in Abbotsford the other night. He's looked all right. He got the win in Anaheim, the last win that this hockey club had. He's an option. He's there. He's fresh and he's ready. But Lankinen had the personal leave. He hasn't played a lot over the last couple of weeks. My sense is that we see Lankinen go right back in goal on Saturday night.
I think new dad energy is going in net.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they're both new dads.
Oh, sorry. Well, I guess Tolopilo's more.
Newer. He's a newer dad.
Yes.
Okay.
Newer dad energy.
Because Monday is 3 and 4. So they could absolutely go Tolopilo and then come back with Lankinen on Monday against the Red Wings. We'll see what happens. There won't be a morning skate, so it may be closer to game time before we know what Adam Foote is thinking. And his hands, we've said they're tied. Like, he doesn't have any options. Evander Kane might be ready. I don't think Lucas Reichel's getting plugged into this lineup anytime soon. And P.O. Joseph, he was ill. He was back on the ice this morning. Could you bring DPD out and put P.O. Joseph in? I guess you could. But, I wouldn't advise it. I thought both DPD and I thought Tom Olander had his moments again in this hockey game. It just continues to quietly go about his business. But the business for all of these guys is winning, and they're just not doing nearly enough of that. All right, it is time for our Bet365 line of the night. Are you looking at hockey, or are you looking elsewhere on Saturday?
Well, first, someone said do the draft lottery simulator, so I'm going to do it. I haven't clicked it yet, so I'm going to do it right now. It's all open on my screen. Let's click it. Sim lottery. Vancouver Canucks, 28 games played. Obviously, it's all up to date. Let's simulate it. Drum roll, please.
What do you got?
The first pick would be the Vancouver Canucks.
All right.
Second pick would be the Leafs, move up 8 spots.
Wow.
Third pick would be the Calgary Flames, as they would have
Canadians.
moved down 1. Wow. Maybe I'm the one that should go be involved in that.
Send you.
But yes, I mean, obviously some recency bias here with the algorithm. Anyways, draft lottery simulator, Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary. That's the first time I've ever done it yet.
We get a win.
There we go. All right, let's look at the line of the night. Hell no, I'm not doing hockey. We're going to the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Yeah.
They have a chance to make history on Saturday, winning its first Major League Soccer title. This franchise has gone from, it started off so well, then it went to absolute shit. Now it's coming back, and they are going up against the final. Thomas Mueller and the boys going up against Lionel Messi. Beat them 3 times already this season. It is going to be interesting. The odds makers, as you can see on Bet365, are giving the Whitecaps absolutely no chance in this hockey game or soccer match at plus 290. But you know what? We're going to stick with the Vancouver Whitecaps. We're going to go. I really do think if you want an indication as to where this team's beliefs at, I'm going to plug them. Go watch the Thomas Mueller press conference from earlier on Friday, and that tells you everything you need to know. Anyways, that's Bet365. Whatever you bet, it's never the moment at Bet365. Must be 19 plus to play. Please play responsibly.
The hat was a tip-off all along. Go Whitecaps. So let's hope that they can get this thing done. And whether the bookies give them an opportunity, they have earned absolutely every benefit of the doubt. And I do hope that they can storm out of the gates the way they did against LAFC and last week in San Diego and find a way to put Miami on its back foot. And we'll see how it plays out. 11:30 Pacific time. So it's
bright and early.
Earlier start than usual. Big sports day. The Vancouver Golden Knights are back home trying to snap their 3-game losing streak. Lost all 3 on a road trip, but of course they won their home opener. They're at the Coliseum. Unfortunately for them, that's a noon start, so they're up against MLS Cup and Whitecaps Mania. And then, of course, the capper is the Canucks are back at it against the Minnesota Wild on Saturday night. Still not sure why it was a 6 o'clock start. I mean, I didn't mind the fact it was a 6 o'clock start, but I don't know why it was a 6 o'clock start on a Friday night weeknight. 7 o'clock, the usual. It's the back half of Hockey Night in Canada. And this Minnesota team comes in on the heels of a 4-1 loss in Calgary. First regulation loss in 13 games. So that's not what the Canucks want to hear or need to hear. Minnesota is 15-8-5. At one point this season, 12 games into the season, Minnesota had 3 wins. They were 3-6-3. And then starting with a home win against the Canucks. They beat the Canucks 5-2. They've gone 12-2-2 in their last 16 hockey games. Given up 4 to Calgary, a little bit of a surprise because prior to that, they had given up 7 goals in the 6 games before they rolled into the Saddle Dome. Kirill the Thrill, he leads them 17 goals. He's got 31 points. Matt Boldy not far behind, 15 goals, 29 points. So definitely one of the dynamic duos in the National Hockey League. Those guys will be a handful for the Vancouver Canucks. And it's likely to be Jesper Wallstedt, who is 8-0-2 on the season, doesn't have a regulation loss. There's a 0 in that middle column, 174 goals against average, 944 save percentage, and he has 4 shutouts on the year.
Kid's good.
They've come in his last 6 starts, so just giving up nothing right now. But we'll see how he fares against the mighty Vancouver Canucks. Canucks would try to duplicate the effort level, but they're going to need more from the pop gun offense because, look, scoring goals hadn't been a problem up until 10 days ago. And they had been giving up way too many. They've tightened up defensively. I know they gave up 4 in this one, but one of them into an empty net. But this is a 2-1 hockey game into the late stages of the third period. So they're showing signs. The structure that's been missing for so long this season, it seems to be coming into form, but at the expense of goals at the other end of the ice. But again, there were opportunities, there were chances. They just got to find a way to bear down and convert. So 7 o'clock, I know that you've got the night off, but Rink Wide will push on, and we'll be here. Harmon Dial from the Athletic and Canucks Convo. He's going to be my co-host on the Saturday night edition. Always like having Harm in and getting his perspective on things. I know he was at the game tonight, so we'll see what tomorrow night brings as the Canucks take on the Minnesota Wild. But look, we're counting down. We're hours away from MLS Cup now, so let's go Whitecaps, and let's hope that we have a championship in this city to talk about by the time Rink Wide gets to air on Saturday. All right. More of the same, unfortunately, for the Canucks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they're in a bad way. It is unfortunate, but hang in there. We're going to do this after every game all season long. We're not going anywhere.
No, we are.
And we need your support. Please, we need your support. We'll try and keep it light. We'll try and find some ways to have some fun and, dig through the darkness to see what kind of positive things we can unearth here as we move forward. But right now, it's tough. It's tough to find those silver linings with 1 win in their last 8 hockey games and just 10 victories, 6 of them in regulation time, now 28 games into the season. 4-1 was the final. Utah defeated the Vancouver Canucks. Again, a reminder about that Canucks Army watch party, December 20th at Greta Bar. You can get your tickets or make your reservation at Open Table. And, we'll be there on the 20th. Looking forward to that. Jacob Fraser behind the scenes helping out, producing this program for IRF. Enjoy the rest of your weekend in the soccer game.
Yes, sir. See you Monday.
We'll be back here after the Canucks and the Wild on Saturday. But that is going to do it for this episode of Rink Wide Vancouver.